Good morning, everybody. This is Jean here, Jean Truelove from Truelove Quilts for You. Is it a good morning? I've had some really bad mornings, I must say. Always trying to smile, but boy, oh boy, I think it's the weather. It's been, I don't mind the cold, as you know, but it's been rainy and miserable. We went to bed with snow last night, which is awesome. I like the snow. And then this morning I woke up expecting to see 12 inches of snow, and it's just a rainy, cold, rainy mess. That was funny. But yeah, I'm, as you know, always strive for positivity. But yeah, the last week or so has been rough. Our situation here hasn't really changed, as you know. We're living in temporary accommodation, which is fine. It really is. It really is. But the actual housing situation for our situation has all of a sudden, with the economy and the cost of things and the shortage of product and the shortage of housing, all of a sudden we're in a bit of a quandary. Our kids, as you know, are looking after us very well and have tried to put their heads together. I think I mentioned this before. Trying to come up with a solution for us. The viable solution is not going back to the home that was destroyed. It was in worse shape because of the tornado and the flooding, and it needs much more extensive work before it even gets lifted. It's getting raised in the air, and our son and our daughters our sons and our daughter don't want to put us through all of that. So alternative housing, it's not so easy just to go out in our area and buy a house. Prohibitively expensive. Everything that literally 2 years ago we could have purchased when we actually sold our family home. Those homes are literally $100,000 plus more now on the market. It's an inflated, ridiculous market, and we don't have unlimited funds, of course, and we're not looking for a huge, great big house because it's just Maxwell, my husband, and I. But it's just that situation has gotten me down, and I always try to be positive, as you know, find the joy in things. But it just got me down. I thought, oh man alive, we are safe here, we are warm here, and we are blessed here, and I keep saying that ad nauseum, I know, but I would like to be settled. I would like to be settled, and it's the uncertainty. It's not that we're not settled here. We're functioning, we're living, but it's just the uncertainty of what our immediate future holds. So I was just really down, and I don't like to be a bearer of bad news, as you know, because I'm sure all of you have worse news than me. That doesn't make me feel any better. It doesn't make you feel any better. But I always try to be like, oh yeah, everything's fine, and you know it's not. But anyway, I thought, well, I feel like filming. Ugh. So I thought, I don't have anything to film, but I do actually. And I'm gonna be taking a few videos. As you know, I'm going to be addressing the Truelove Quilt Challenge. As you know, I had selected 6 different fabrics, and here they are. I had announced this a few months ago, and it's not a competition, it's a challenge for quilters to challenge themselves, step out of the box. The rules are back in my playlist, as you can see, but these were the 6 different fabrics that I chose. Now, a lot of you couldn't get these fabrics, and again, whatever fabrics you got to have the same look of these fabrics. These were the 6 different fabrics that I chose for the quilting challenge. And as you know, the last few videos, my friend Jen, that was her idea, she came up with her giraffe quilt. Truelove's Patches True Love Darling. And I'm going to be critiquing or judging the quilts that are slowly coming to me. Now, the quilt challenge, it's not due till March the 15th. of this year, which is fine. People have, I think it's about 5 or 6 months that I gave you, but just a few people have actually sent me their entrants and shown me their quilts. And instead of just doing it all at one time, I'm going to be splitting these down, and I'm going to be talking about them in the order that I receive them. Now, if you had seen the last couple videos, you know that Stefan in Germany, he had done his, I don't know, I think I put the video up, and Stefan, you did it in like 2 seconds. He's so fast. He sent me the pictures of his quilt, the very first one. But I'm going to just, I have, at this point, right now, I just want to tell you, I have Stefan's, I have Rosetta's, I have, who's this? I have Rosemary, and I have Fran's. I have 4 quilts from the Truelove Challenge. I have to just address, I have received from my sampler, my Dear Jean quilt from last year, I have received a few other photographs that people have sent me. But that is going to be in a different video. But I am acknowledging that right now. And I will be showing you those pictures that people had sent. As you know, we had a whole quilt show, virtual quilt show of all of the Dear Jean quilts sent in to me last year. I'll put the link to that video because it's just a visual delight. Same patterns that I taught, but different fabrics and people's interpretation of that. And I have just received, people have just finished theirs, but that's going to be a different video. I haven't forgotten you guys though. So I'm just going to share just a few the little stories, if there is one, of the quilts that in order that I receive them. And then I'm going to be putting up the photographs that I was sent, the digital photographs, so you can see for yourself. I used to like hold it up, and that was really like ghetto, and I'm thinking, I'm trying to figure out on my computer to download the images, and I figured it out. It takes a while. You must excuse, well, no, not excuse me, you must give me credit. Because it takes a long time to edit these things and everything. But that's what I've been doing. So I'm going to start straight away. I'm going to start straight away with Stefan's. Straight away, right? I'm gonna get off track. But before I do that, I want to just show you that I'm going to be, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to judge. Again, you're all going to get E's and 10s for your quilts. But what I did is I printed up the standards for judging and quilted items, for quilts and quilted items. As you are judging quilts, blah, 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 use the following criteria to help you be an objective judge and to avoid letting your personal preferences influence your judging. My personal preference is you all are blue ribbon winners. It's going to be judged on presentation. Is the quilt pleasing to look at and to touch? Now, I've not touched these quilts, obviously. This is for quilt show judges who go and touch the quilt. I can't do that. I'm looking at your photographs. So make your photographs really, really good. Does it have a special quality that makes it attractive? Is it quilt free or of loose threads or knots? Is it clean? You guys, come on, you don't send me a picture of a dirty quilt. That's so funny. Who would do that? Is it free of markings? That's interesting, though. Does it have a label? Now, maybe for you guys, you want to put a label on the back for your own, you know, like, I did it. I challenged myself. I stepped out of the box, and I finished it on X day. The design and creativity, I'm telling you, the 4 I've gotten, unreal. Out of these fabrics and or the alternative fabrics that you came up with, the degree of creativity, you guys are incredible. Have the design principles of rhythm and balance been used? Is there good use of lights and darks? I mean, these were funky fabrics. I'm working on mine. I'm having a hard time. Like, who would have chosen those fabrics, right? Me. Does the fabric grain, I guess that's when you're looking at a quilt. Does the fabric grain, if noticeable, affect the design in a pleasing way? Does the design show unity? Is there a balance of variety and uniformity? Do the borders, binding, and other finishing parts enhance the overall appearance? I think that's important, the binding. Do the colors work well together? I don't think so. Do these colors work well? Tell you what people have come up with. That's funny. Is there color accents to give the design movement and interest? Are the colors appropriate for the use of the piece? Does the backing complement or harmonize with other colors in the quilt? That's interesting. Is the fabric weave? Oh, come on, give me a break. Will the materials used withstand the type of cleaning? Well, that's interesting. Used to remain useful. Do the materials go well together? Not only color-wise, but according to type. Well, I think most of us are using 100% cotton, but maybe not instead of a cheap jack cotton, like a garbage cotton, like a really fairly decent cotton. Yeah. Does the quilting or the pattern support the batting enough? Now, you know me. Is it consistent? I am a stickler on that one. You know that. So you better keep your batting consistent over the top of your quilt. Is the quilting planned so it fits properly in the spaces? And then workmanship. Do all the points and corners meet? That's important. That's important. If you're challenging yourself, you want your workmanship. Each quilt you make, your workmanship will get better. I've noticed that. Even an expert quilter, even an experienced quilter, the next quilt they make is going to be better than the last one. I think that was the whole point of this challenge. I've given you this sort of criteria, fabrics, and then you had to come up with something yourself and or use a pattern. But like, that's really an awesome, I think that's awesome. If appliqued, are the curves done smoothly? If appliqued, I did get one that's appliqued. I don't know if I'm going to be getting to her today. I think I'm just going to be doing the two. But I will get to the applique. Are the seams flat and pressed neatly? Now again, I can't see because I don't have the quilt in front of me. You can actually feel though. You guys will know that. Have you pressed your seams? You should always press and iron as you go along. Don't think, oh, I can piece all of these and then iron it at the end. It really does make a difference to a lovely flat quilt. I sound like a judge, don't I? Are the seams free of bumps and bulk? Does the construction seem strong enough to last the life of the quilt? Interesting. Obviously, when we're making a baby quilt, that's going to be worn and tugged and dragged, as opposed to, say, an heirloom quilt that's on a bed, maybe a wedding present that comes out special. So you always want to make your quilt the best you can, taking into consideration the use it's going to get. Maybe reinforce some seams. I do know there's a couple of these I've suggested for wheelchairs. That would be more of a reinforced seam where it gets tucked. Again, there's quite a lot of things. Is the binding free of puckers and ripples? That's interesting. Is the binding even in width and uniformly filled? Again, I'm a bit of a stickler for that you don't have these flappy bindings. You really want your binding to cover that batting, to encase all of the batting, the quilt top, and the backing. So your binding is nice and full and sturdy on the edges instead of like flappy. That's important. So a few other things, but that's a list of standard judging criteria. Now to get right to the first one that I had received, that was from Stefan. And again, Stefan had actually used all 6 of the fabrics, I believe. Yeah. Okay. Let me just read Stefan's. This is months ago. My challenge quilt is finished, and I'm very proud of how it turned out. This is the first time I've done a challenge like this, and I'm happy that I've done it. The fabrics you chose would not have been my first choice, to be honest. They weren't my first choice. I just I picked them willy-nilly. But I think I found a pretty pleasing way to put them together. Planning and scaling the pattern took a while, but I settled fast on the design after I sketched it out. The patchwork sewing part is always my favorite part, so that was done quite fast. Since my sewing space is quite small, my machine is not the most professional, and I'm not really experienced in the quilting part, I took a while to get to it, and I only stitched in the ditch. And even that needs improvement. I'll tell you, stitching in the ditch is awesome, but I'm still happy how it turned out. Also, the final reason, Stefan, you made me cry. The final reason I took up your challenge was when you said you picked the quilt size because it is the right size, perhaps, for a person in a wheelchair. My father has the Huntington syndrome and might actually end up in a wheelchair. Also, I have a 50% chance I might have inherited it. So I loved the thought behind all of this, and I will keep the quilt for when the day, someday, actually comes to gift it to him. Oh, Stefan. I hope you like it, and I'm looking forward to all the other beautiful creations we will get to see. Thanks for all you do. Love from the True Loves. Love to the True Loves. I always say that. All the best, Stefan. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put up the pictures of Stefan's quilts that he sent me with a little musical thing. And then what I'm going to do is I have this here. This is my 2022 True Love Challenge judging sheet. I did this sort of a cliff notes of the long judging thing. And I'm going to actually, from marks out of 1 out of 10, I'm going to actually give a mark that I feel in my heart of hearts, truly, that I feel is applicable to the quilts. And then out of, there's 10 different judging things that I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to do the subtotaling, and the points total. And again, I want to put 10s on all of these, but I will be actually looking at your photographs and not picking them apart, but that's what judges do. And you have to understand, this little challenge was for a lark, but there are certain things, if I see, I'm a bit of an experienced quilter, that I see perhaps you could have done slightly better, slightly different. It's going to be reflecting in the marks at the end of this little segment. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting up Stefan's quilt pictures, and then I'm going to be, there's going to be his score sheet. So here goes, Stefan. Here's your lovely quilt, and then at the end is your quilt sheet. And then I'm going to be doing rosettas. So I'm sure you all enjoyed Stefan's beautiful creation. Shocking, isn't it? Now Rosetta sent me pictures which I'm going to be putting up. Now Rosetta only used 5. That was one of the criterias, that you had to use at least 5 out of the 6 chosen fabrics. Rosetta chose 5 of the fabrics, and she didn't do a tremendous story about her quilt. But I'm going to be putting, again, I'm going to be filling out Rosetta's score sheet. I'm going to be putting up Rosetta's pictures, and then her score sheet at the end of that. So I do hope you enjoy Rosetta's beautiful quilt. Hers came... again, I think it's just amazing all of the myriad of different quilts that we're going to be seeing in this quilt challenge. That was the beauty of it. I have received Jen's, and I hadn't put Jen's on here. I've received 5 of them. You've seen her giraffe quilt, but what I'm going to be doing is she's finished quilting it, but I think that will be for the next video. And Jen, I'm telling you, Jen's gonna get critiqued because this whole thing was her idea, right? So that's all I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing, I've done Stefan's and I've done Rosetta's, and to come I have Rosemary's and I have Fran's. Okay, I'm just putting their first name. You know who you are, your last name. And again, I'm going to be filling out your judging sheets for both Rosemary and Fran. But I do hope you've enjoyed the process of this. If you haven't, if you're new to this channel and you don't know what this is all about, again, in the beginning, I'll have put my playlist for sort of the ideas and for the fabrics that I had chosen. And for when it's due and how I would like the sizes and everything. This has really been a bright spot for me to receive the pictures and for people to have taken this quite seriously and to have come up with these beautiful creations with lovely, wonderful stories, how the quilt's going to be used or how you actually challenged yourself. That was the whole thing. I am working on my quilt and boy, I think because I'm not right in the head. No, I'm right in my head. Well, maybe I'm not in a good place right now. I'm not in the best of places, I should say. I'm not right in my head. Yeah, I'm probably not. I'm not in the best of places right now, being displaced from the tornado and all of the disasters. So I had a difficult time, but I have come up with something. I'm working on it slowly, and you know me, I do things like this, but I've not been doing things like that because of our situation that we find ourselves in. But I'm just enjoying this. This is going on 5 months. Yeah, February 1st will be 5 months that how quickly, shocking how quickly that went. And yet we've survived, and we've been I can't say we've been happy, although we're happy people. We are not tolerating this situation. I don't want to say that because we're in an awesome situation. We are safe and we are being taken care of. Again, as I said at the beginning, it's just the uncertainty of where we're going to end up. And we sort of have Maxwell to consider. He's okay. He just came down actually, and he said, "Do you want me to be in my video?" But he was in his dressing gown with his headphones on, all unshaven. I said, "No." He said, "Okay, Mom, I'm going away." But he says hello, and Ian says hello. Ian's in the other room here, so we're all cozy. We're on top of each other, but that's okay. And as I always say, when you don't have a lot, you don't need a lot, right? So I appreciate everything. Oh, did you notice the quilt behind me? Yeah, you did. I hung up another quilt. I made this for Ian years ago, years and years and years ago. It was an actual pattern in a quilting magazine. And I almost got the exact same fabrics. I forgot, like a Better Homes and Garden quilting magazine. I had seen the floral fabric and I liked it a lot. And he said he wanted sort of a red, white, and blue, not patriotic, but a red, white, and blue quilt. Summery quilt. So I made that for him years ago, following a strict pattern. And I just thought I have to change things up on these gray walls, so I hung that up. So again, I hope you're all well. We did have a couple of my large family. However, many of them had caught the virus, but they were okay, mildly, all vaxxed and everything. So just a few of them were a bit under the weather, but not too bad, not too bad. Hopefully this is coming to a conclusion. It will almost be 2 years. It's just beyond shocking to me. But they're all out of the clear now, and they're all feeling better. But that was a worry. And again, I just didn't feel like being all like, everything's so wonderful. Because it wasn't, and it's not. But again, I was talking to Jen yesterday, and how how we're trying to be positive and just show loyal love to each other. We had we have a Bible study, and we were talking about showing loyal love. That's it's different from just like, oh, we love you, lovely. Loyal love is coming back and telling your loved ones you love them and you're there for them and you're supporting them. And we have friends and family who do that, and that's what keeps us going very much. And I hope you all have that too. And if not, for what it's worth, love from the Trueloves. All right, folks, have a lovely day. See ya.